when I reflect a little bit our discussion now, and I think again, how do we bring people in? I think there are two words that stick with me. One is clearly the practice. Hey, this is really about practice, trying things, and then do it, do it, do it, do it. And the other one is the choice. We actually have a choice, even as a collaborator and not as the leader, to do things differently. And between choice and practice, there is something to shift, to change, because then without naming it, we can dive into those mindsets, into the iceberg, in those limiting beliefs, why we do things as we do it. There is a choice, and with the choice, you can shift. And then you need a little toolbox, and voila, here you have it.
I think there's maybe also something else, and just in some ways, I mean, you could almost think that liberating structures, like from from the 80s adverts where you have like these glasses that see through walls. I mean, they do that in some ways, liberating structures, because it looks again like a very just another facilitation training course or whatever. But in fact, I mean, I think in a very non-threatening way, they really touch upon all these other elements that the self as instrument, who am I, the wider context we're part of, the different scales of that context we're part of, etc., from the micro to the macro, and I think that's the kind of stuff that that really can lead to breakthroughs. I mean, I blogged several years ago about our tendency in global development, but not just there, to focus on what we have to get done as opposed to why we do it and how we do it, and it's in those different other layers that you find a lot of interesting things. I find everyone is just always focused on this is the mission we have, etc. Not thinking, okay, how am I interacting with you? So all these other who, what, when, who, how, when, why, etc. But I think liberating structures is really bringing all these dimensions into one, and I think that helps everyone again appreciate the bigger picture in some ways.